Welcome, everyone, to the 7th episode of the All Stuff No Fluff podcast, a show where we talk with friends about the games and stuff we like on a monthly basis. So, going into this episode, we have a ton to talk about, and we're going to get to all that. But for now, let me use this opportunity to welcome and thank our lovely panel of folks that have joined us today. One of which is a new guest to the show. HMK, hello. Thank you for joining us today.
Yo, I am so glad to be here, and you guys already know that my hype levels are like at maximum. I am elated, and you guys know why, but I'll let y'all get to that.
Yeah. Before we dive into things here, do you want to give us a little bit of an intro and introduce yourself to the audience here?
Oh, okay, no problem. Hey guys, I'm HMK. I do a lot of Legend of Zelda, Kingdom Hearts, and Super Smash Bros. Content all around Nintendo Square Enix over on my channel. You can find me over at HMKilla. Just, plug that into any type of thing and you'll be able to find my handles, no problem. I do a lot of content in terms of theories, hype, and just stuff to get you to think and to get excited. So if you're down for that, be sure to check out my channels.
Oh, I'm so down for that. And, of course, joining us as well, we've got Push Dustin, Stealth 40K, Yo Schiller, and David. Thank you guys for joining us on the panel today. I do want to get started, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into things here. We obviously have some very big things to dive into. You guys probably already know what I'm talking about. It's been the talk of the town, topping the Twitter trending tab for a solid few days, and bringing us all together in one great big celebration of gaming history, and the Animal Crossing Direct.
Yeah, it's weird. I can't believe Brewster was gone for so long.
Yeah, wow, right? I don't know.
Making coffee.
That long?
Knitting.
That better be like the filet mignon of coffee.
Like,
yeah, what if he was
overdone at this
cultivating
point.
like a very special type of coffee bean that took him 6 years in order to like cultivate?
dude.
Yo, this is gonna be like that Jimmy Neutron episode all over again.
Dude's about to be an entrepreneur and make billions and billions of bells.
Just in
Yep.
time for pumpkin spice season. Am I right?
Oh, that's why it's in October.
No way.
That's so dumb. Oh my god.
We cracked the code. No, but seriously, you all know what it is. Sora has finally made his way into Smash Ultimate, and gosh, what a way to end things off, right? So, let's talk about it. Now that we've all made it to the other side of the final Smash announcement, what are our thoughts on Sora being the last DLC character for Ultimate and presumably the last new fighter we'll be seeing for quite a few years to come? Starting with you, HMK, if you want, you can feel free to go ahead and I know you have a long history with campaigning for this dude to be into the game, so if you want to just give us like a quick overview as to from then to now. Feel free, go for it.
Oh man. Okay, so like in the beginning, way back in like 2015 and whatnot, even like accents of like 2014. As soon as we got the idea that we could get DLC characters in Super Smash Bros. Way back with Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, I was just like, okay, Sora, because like in the perspective between that of Brawl and Smash Wii U and Smash 3DS. 3DS and Wii U had a lot more third-party characters in the game going on and stuff. We had Mega Man, we had Pac-Man. In Brawl, we only had Snake and Sonic, right? So, like, that kind of opened the door in my head saying, like, okay, Sora. And then that's when the hashtag Sora for Smash came into being. And as soon as Sakurai put out the ballot, it was just a wrap for me, just trying to get that message out to the people and whatnot, and the fact that Cloud was able to make it in and that Bayonetta was quote unquote the winner of the ballot that was for the that was able to be realized at the time. I never lost hope, and now that we go into Ultimate, in which Smash was like Sakurai did the impossible for Smash. He made the impossible possible. So I just like, okay, this is it. Especially when we got Joker as our first DLC pack of the Fighters Pass 1 and then Fighters Pass 2 confirmed 6 more characters. I just like, dude, Kingdom Hearts is honestly like one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's only second by a small margin to Zelda, right? And the fact that we can have Kingdom Hearts and Zelda both in Super Smash Bros., which is like my third favorite franchise after those two, is just so unreal and amazing. And like, I just gotta say thanks to all the people who campaigned, who helped me campaign, and who never lost hope, even after we got Cloud, Joker, Hero, Sephiroth. Man, there are times where people are like, okay, it's over. It cannot happen anymore. I'm like, no, not until the last fighter. And you know what happened? The last fighter turned out to be the boy from Destiny Islands, the Keyblade hero, Sora!
That's my boy,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
So what is this
sorry,
indie game called Kingdom Hearts? Like, what is it? Why is it so important?
Yo, Schiller, I don't need to come over there and beat you in Mario Kart like I always do.
Always. You won always. And you take that one time you win and rub it right in my face. I'll give you the Smash Bros victory, but Mario Kart, no.
I will literally pull up the last video we did together and see how many times I won.
Oh, please do. Give me that extra view. I'll take it.
Man, I would have thought that you were campaigning to be president or something, HMK. That was inspiring.
I tried.
No,
The Kingdom Hearts fandom is eating right now, man. I'm so happy for y'all.
Yeah, in all honesty, I just wanted a character that would make other people happy. So whether it was Sora or Master Chief or even someone like Dr. Eggman or something, I just wanted it to be a character that people wanted. Obviously, it would have been fun if we had a less well-known character. Part of me thought it was going to be someone a little more niche, like a Yumi Tachibana or just someone like that. But I am glad that it was a big end. I thought we weren't going to get a big end because we have suspicion to believe that Sakurai changed the order of the reveals based on what events were surrounding them. Like, we have suspicion to believe that Joker wasn't going to be the first character in DLC Pack 1. So I thought maybe they saved their biggest reveal for E3 and that Kazuya was as big as it was going to get. But I am glad that it ended with someone as big as Sora.
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect that I'm sorry. I just want to say I thought it was perfect that they started with Joker because I thought that was like the best way to like let us know. I'm like, hey, listen, this pass can get the Smash DLC in Ultimate this time around can get extremely wild, and that was just Joker's wild, right?
Yeah. I agree that really set the tone with Joker. That like it doesn't have to the game doesn't have to originate on Nintendo on a Nintendo system. It could be anybody.
Mm-hmm. If I could jump in really quick here, HMK, since you're like such a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, you could probably confirm this or back this up. I have a friend who's super big into Kingdom Hearts, and like as soon as Sora dropped, he was like all sorts of emotional, and then he started doing like the analysis, the deeper meaning behind the trailer, right? Because if you think about it, Sora's reveal trailer was like the simplest one out of every single one that's been happening so far. It's literally just him flying in, and that's it. But
unless you count Joker.
If you count Joker too, but Joker's pretty wild. But
Joker had like animation.
So let me read off what my friend said here. So in Kingdom Hearts, when a light in a world expires and darkness consumes it, the world doesn't vanish, but instead falls into sleep. When we saw the light wither, everyone stood still, which means the light from them vanished, and they were all in a sleep in darkness, literally. Until Mario, being the one person with a connection to the light, being the Nintendo actual mascot, he stepped down from his pedestal, which still had light in it, and then he wielded the weapon that transformed into the Keyblade, which then summoned back Sora into the light again, which allowed Sora to enter, thus like bringing everyone back to life. So that was like his Kingdom Hearts analysis of that trailer, and I was like, you know what, that actually makes sense.
What the heck?
It's actually pretty spot on in terms of how the lore functions in Kingdom Hearts after the Keyblade War, darkness swallowing all of the light, and then when a world is consumed by darkness, they go into a type of stasis and stuff because there is when there's the worlds go to sleep and stuff, there's the realm of sleep and then there's the realm of darkness, and then when a world gets restored from the realm of darkness, sometimes it doesn't wake completely up and it gets put into the realm of sleep. But basically, their time does not pass in the realm of darkness. So when everything gets consumed, it just it stands still. It's stasis, all that, and of course, the light within Mario was able to restore that. Especially how big Mario is, and that actually leads into another small little story that a bunch of people really sleep on. And I found it was so poetic that it was Mario that did that, and that Mario shook Sora's hand because Sora's existence completely rode off of Mario, because when Hironobu Sakaguchi and Shuji Hashimoto were coming up with the initial concepts that became Kingdom Hearts, they wanted to make a game that was able to compete with Mario after seeing how well Super Mario 64 performed. And they thought that the only character that could compete with Mario at the time was Mickey Mouse against Super Mario. So once they had that idea in their head at the time, in Japan, Disney Japan was in the same building as Square Enix, and then Hashimoto, with the idea still in his head, was able to be in the elevator with a Disney executive, and that was the famous elevator pitch.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually, they took that idea straight to Bob Iger, and then they gave him the okay. And then Hashimoto and Sakaguchi at the time really wanted they wanted Mickey to be the main character. I always get this mixed up. One side wanted Mickey to be the main character, and the other side wanted Donald to be the main character. And then along comes Tetsuya Nomura, who was overhearing the conversation, and Nomura was the creative artist for Final Fantasy at the time, and was like, "Hey, can I get in on this?" And at the time, Sakaguchi really trusted him and was like, "All right, kid." And at the time, Nomura was a kid. He's like, "All right, kid, let's give you the shot." And then he's like, "You know what? Forget Donald, forget Mickey. Let's make a new character." And that character ended up becoming Sora.
Honestly,
Man.
it's ridiculous how big brain like the creative
Like,
team
it literally
behind these
came full
trailers
circle.
are, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And even like with that, there's a third way you can look at this, which was my perspective as a Smash fan who has no I have no recollection of the lore at all of Kingdom Hearts, but the way I saw this trailer was the Smash symbol igniting in the beginning when Smash Ultimate was first revealed, right, with the Inkling trailer. That was signifying the beginning of Smash. That light going out was representing the ending of Smash, since we finally knew this was going to be the last character. This was pretty much signifying the ending of Smash Brothers. But then Mario stepping down, reigniting the flame, Sora coming out, that reignited it, because metaphorically, Smash isn't done. It's done in terms of DLC, but this game is going to last the rest of this console life cycle, and then whatever comes after this. Smash is not dead by a long shot. So this was kind of almost like a figurative thing where it's like Smash is done, but the players are going to keep this going. Every single character in this game has their own games, and they're going to keep going. This is a whole thing. I'm big branding this right now. It's a reach, but bro, it's like there are meanings in this.
It's actually not a reach, because Sora actually gives a speech at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh my
Kingdom
God.
Hearts 1 Sora, and he says, like, when you see the trailer of Smash, when the Smash logo goes out in flame, and there's one little like fire, like a really small ember. Sora says when he's about to fight Ansem, the boss of the first game, he says, "The heart may be weak, and sometimes it may even give in, but I have learned deep down that there's a light that will never go out."
I swear to God, bro.
You know, I thought
so cool.
having HMK on the show today would like put us into the territory of deep diving into Kingdom Hearts.
No, bro,
All of
it's
this
like
is like
insane.
so above my head. Like, I like Kingdom Hearts, but obviously you guys have way more knowledge than I do. So I like that is
Yeah,
just
but when it
crazy.
comes to that-
Wow.
When it comes to that, it's like Sora had to be the last character for any of this to make sense. Like, his
Exactly.
trailer had to be last. And then even like the day that he was revealed, it also was the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts. And then he's being dropped 13 days after his reveal trailer. He is patch 13. And a whole bunch of other 13s are involved in this, and that's a big number in Kingdom Hearts, Organization 13, all this other stuff. So they're Galaxy
And-
brand in this planning team, bro. I don't know what the heck they be doing over there, but holy
And-
cow.
The funniest thing, this is my last thing before I throw it over to another person. The funniest thing about that specifically is that when you count Piranha Plant and Pirate Mythra as separate numbers, because they are, Sora is number 13 of the DLC fighters, and he's also number 7 of Fighters Pass 2.
Oh my
And 7 and 13 are two extremely big numbers, the 7 lights and the 13 darknesses in Kingdom Hearts.
What the heck?
I'm gonna lose my mind.
It's got to be planned. I don't want to dive too much into it because we've already done that so much. But that's wild. No, for me personally, like the day before, I locked in Master Chief because that's just kind of like who I thought, right? And I saw that Roger was thinking the same thing. And after I made that tweet, I was like, "There's no way, like it can anybody else could be bigger than that." But now that we've kind of obviously come onto the other side of things, it just makes so much more sense for it to be Sora. And like all the knowledge that we've gained since then about the fact that he was actually the real winner of the Smash Ballot and all this other stuff, it just makes so much sense. So
I want to talk about that in a little bit.
yeah.
Him being the winner of the ballot. But did someone else want to say something? Push, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so, like, yeah, leading up to the event, I was just like, oh, yeah, there's going to be, like, a promotional character. It's going to be a future character. They're going to keep the roster fresh and everything like that. But as we got closer and closer to the reveal, like, they kept on hyping it up more and more and more in ways that I was just like, it has to be kind of a bigger character.
Yeah, it was
And,
really weird.
Yeah. And then, like, I was thinking, like, it could be Master Chief. There's no way they'll get Sora because the rights are just way too complicated. There's no way they'll figure that out. And, but, like, if it was Master Chief, I think Sora was the better pick. Like, if you had to pick either one of those, Sora is the better pick because, like, Master Chief is big, but, like, we've already had Banjo, we've already had Steve, so it doesn't seem impossible. Sora was, like, one of the last impossible characters to join Smash.
No, I agree 100%.
And so I feel like it was, like, the best pick for the last character.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the show, you know, they were hyping it up way too much for it to be like a Nintendo character or Cinderace. Yeah. And I know a lot of people were saying, oh, maybe they'll do the same thing with Byleth. But, like, I saw Byleth not, like, the end of Fighters Pass 1, but, like, the middle of all the DLC. Like, I didn't see that. I didn't see Byleth as the end. I think we all kind of assumed it was going to be a big character. Just the way even Sakurai himself kept tweeting about watching the event, which he didn't do a lot. I don't remember him doing it all that much. So yeah, I mean, I was expecting it to be big, and Sora really was like considering how many people cried on the internet for it, it's hard to deny like it was the right
beautiful pick. Like, this was probably one of my favorite reaction compilations I've ever, because it was that music, dude. Like, I have no heart connection to Kingdom Hearts. I love Sora as a character. If I was a kid and I got a PlayStation 2, I guarantee I would be on this boat with everyone else. But the music of Kingdom Hearts is so well made, and just that magic of like seeing something that everyone's been wanting for years come into fruition, and then that music turns on, and you're like, this should not be here, but I am about to cry. Oh no, I'm crying. I'm crying.
Yoko Shimomura, man. Yoko Shimomura is the champ.
Yeah. What really got me though was the handshake at the end of the trailer.
That broke me.
Legendary.
Because I saw that as like, Mario's like the biggest character of my childhood, and like I think the biggest character in gaming period, and to have him like, it was just to have him shake Sora's hand as like welcoming him in, with that got me.
Well, it's a little similar to when they did. I know this is going to seem a lot less comparable now, but back when they first started doing Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, that was a big deal. And they even had a shot where Mario and Sonic were shaking hands. That was the, hey, you know what, we're in this together type of thing. We know how difficult it was to pull this off. And then, you fast forward a few years later when Pac-Man got unveiled for Smash, and there's explicit shots in his trailer and explicit shots on the website of like Pac-Man chasing Mario, Sonic, Mega Man. They knew that was the big deal to have those four. Those were the four. And now we're so far past all of that it's like, what's the next big thing? Oh, we got Sora, and what's the best way to conclude this is to just have them do a handshake with everyone else in the background. So the symbolism of a handshake, the art of the deal, is a great way to finish off Smash.
No, for sure. And I guess we've already heard a little bit from you, David, but were you expecting Sora in Smash at all?
So people like to ruin surprises. So it's like I heard people talking about it, and I was just like, I've been so jaded from like this whole. I'm honestly so relieved it's over, right? This emotional roller coaster we've been on ever since this game released, where we had the Grinch leak, we had Ryu and stuff, we had all these things happen where people like want to spoil surprises, and we don't know who to trust until things actually happen. But for Sora to actually happen, right? I was like, I'd be awesome if it did, but I'm not holding my breath. And then it actually happened. It was like a sigh of relief that came out of me, more so than anything. I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, finally, it's real. Oh, jeez. But yeah, I can't wait to play him. He's gonna be so fun, dude.
Yeah,
He's
10 days.
So great to play.
Right? 10 days. 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah, it's okay. I already knows. He's got to count
from this recording date. From this recording date. By the time the episode airs, it might only be like, I don't know.
Oh,
9
right.
days.
Yeah. It could be any number of days. It could be tomorrow. No, it won't take that long. It won't take that long.
Oh, check your calendars.
What about you, HMK? Were you expecting Sora to make it in at all? I know you were campaigning for him for so long, but were you ever just like in your mind, just any earthly idea that this could even be possible?
Oh, like definitely. Like, of course, there are like small parts of me that was like, man, this, like, I guess it was the whispers of all the doubters that I like interacted over the years that was always like in my head. But I always believed like, yo, Sora can make it a Smash. So, like, people were like, oh, the Disney rights, oh, this, all that. I'm like, dude, like, Sora can make it to Smash. And then I've always, as soon as I saw Joker and then it got reaffirmed after Steve, I was like, my gut told me, I'm like, listen, Sora is gonna be the last character. Sora is gonna be the last character. That's the only way they can have him come in this game, for him to be the last character, right? Like, the only other gargantuan character in this whole Fighters Pass, like, listen, I'm biased with Banjo-Kazooie because that was my childhood and stuff, but the only other character that was in this Fighters Pass that was able to stand up in levels of personality, not personality, but popularity to him, was Steve, right? And Steve was number 2 in Fighters Pass 2, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, right after Min, you're just coming out of the gate with Steve. That's wild, right? So I'm like, okay, if Steve's already in here, then Sora has to be last. Right, so going in here, I always believed. But then when the trailer hit and I kept seeing that like fire stuff and the little fireball, I'm like, bro, if it's Cinderace, and I'm like, oh, it might be Dark Souls. And then like when Mario finally threw the fireball and it became a Keyblade, I was just like, vindication. But like I always believed. I always thought that Sora, if and when Sora were to come to Smash, he would have to be the last character. So I was like, all right, this is it. This is it.
Yeah. No, I think that makes total sense. I, like I said earlier, I wasn't expecting it, but man, there are some days where I'm just okay with being wrong. Like, that was just so beautiful. What about you, Push? Were you expecting Sora to be included?
I was not expecting it at all because like Sora, he was added into, was it World of Final Fantasy, and then removed, and then so I was just like, oh, the rights are just too much of a mess. Like if he can't even stay in a Final Fantasy game, he's not gonna come to Smash. So I was seriously doubting him, but I'm glad to see that Nintendo and Disney and Square Enix, Nomura, were able to come to an agreement and get Sora in, because I think, like I said before, I think he was like the perfect character to end on, because he was like the last impossible character.
It's got to be such an interesting development story. Like, if we were ever to be able to take a peek behind the curtain, I would have just loved to have seen that meeting.
Yeah,
or, like, what decisions went into
I'm
place.
sure we're gonna get some post-release interviews on this. I'm
In 2 weeks, we will get a Sakurai column focused on Sora.
Oh man.
That's good.
Oh.
That is
So,
gonna be
Sakurai-
juicy.
Sakurai has 2 more columns left, and then he's retiring from Famitsu.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. I'm like, isn't he retiring soon? I'm like, do we have enough time? Like,
Yeah, so one will be about Sora, and then one will be the last one. And so stay tuned for those.
Is that his?
bring in the Mora.
Is that his retirement from Famitsu or just gaming in general?
Yeah, he's been from Famitsu. He's been writing since 2003. So 8 years, or basically, and over 600. Last column will be number 640.
Wait, did you say 2003?
Nice.
Does that timeline
Yes,
line up
2000.
like that's right when he left HAL, wasn't it? Like right after Kirby, right?
It was right before.
Right before.
I
Okay.
think. Yeah, leaving HAL was his like 30th column,
Got it.
and he writes it on a bi-weekly basis.
Right.
That's insane.
I don't think
people
I've ever
thought
done
he
that.
was like retiring from gaming because of a mistranslation, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
it's just Famitsu.
No, he likes
Okay,
making games
okay.
too much. Like I
Yeah, he
I
likes
get
it too much.
Yeah, he said in the Harada interview that as long as I can provide value, I'm gonna continue making games. And I think Sakurai still sees himself as being able to provide value and make games and everything like that.
That is so wholesome, but also heartbreaking. One day he won't think that. That makes me sad.
Come on,
Yeah,
Kid
I mean-
Icarus 2.
I honestly think that when he reaches that point, it's not gonna be due to like a mental roadblock. I think it's gonna be towards a physical roadblock, because when he messed up his shoulder in 2013, I was like,
That's
man,
true.
this man, like, he literally works himself to the bone, and that's dedication. But take a break, please.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking
So
about a guy. Sorry to cut you off. You're talking about a guy who actually makes games in a way that I think they're supposed to be made, where he comes up with the gameplay concept first and then programs and designs a proof of concept and then builds the game around that. Like, we all know Super Smash Bros. Was going to be a more generic fighting game. And then it's like slap some Nintendo characters onto it. Kid Icarus Uprising, he created this rail shooter type of game, and it was originally going to be a Star Fox game. And then he was like, you know what, it'd be more fun if I used this pit model from Brawl, and we turned it into Kid Icarus. And so I suspect it'll be similar. Well, he'll have another idea for a game, and it'll turn into the next big thing. Like, he just likes making games.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I do hope he keeps his Namco team together.
Yeah.
That's a
Because it would
big
be a shame
maybe.
for them to disband.
That's a big maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I get the feeling he might not be with Namco, and he might have to create another team, but we'll see.
He can't create another team. Like, Kid Icarus Uprising was such a difficult development process.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, is that, like, for Kid Icarus Uprising, he had to literally create a studio.
Yeah, that's how he created
Sora.
Sora.
And this
Project-
time,
Project Sora.
it was different from, well, not Sora. That Sora Limited is just him. It's just to manage copyrights.
Oh.
Yeah,
Um,
but it was Project
oh,
Sora
yeah, yeah.
that was within the thing.
Yeah, Project Sora, yeah. And like, because it was like such a mismatch of employees from random studios and everything like that, he had to deal with a lot with HR and stuff like that, recruitment and everything like that, and that just put an incredible strain on the development process. He said, like, I don't want to ever do that again. So like with Smash 4 Wii U and 3DS, he was like, okay, I need a company that's like, you know, is able to handle fighting games and is large enough to house a team. It has to be Bandai Namco.
Yeah, they got a good rep.
Yeah, they got a good rep, and they had the staff and the experience and know-how. So I think, like, it's going to be interesting to see what he does next, if it's not Smash. You know, like, where is he housed? Because I don't think he's going to go back to Nintendo full-time.
I don't think so. I think he's going to continue
Definitely
freelance.
not.
I know in the past he's spoken about actually making games for other consoles, and I remember he said that, like, Iwata was sad about that. I could see Sakurai staying loyal to Nintendo. I could see him making something for, like, PlayStation 5. I don't know. But what I do know, I can say this with confidence, is he's going to come up with an idea for a completely different type of game. Whether or not it gets a Nintendo coat of paint, I have no idea. But he always has ideas in the back of his mind, and I think he's just going to open up his little journal and be like, oh yeah, I wanted to make this game. Okay, I'll do that now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Oh, that man. He works very,
But
very
I
hard.
was a little moved when he mentioned Iwata one more time in that Sora's presentation, because like, for Sakurai, like, Ultimate was like his last gift for Iwata. Like, he's mentioned that, you know, it was like his last mission for Iwata, because like, Iwata you know, asked him to make the new Smash for the Switch. At the time it was like NX, right?
Mhm.
And you know, just being like, you know, this was like the last collaboration. I think that was really important.
Yeah, and also, as it turns out, I think their idea of not mentioning, like, which characters were high up on the ballot was correct, because, you know, he was right. If he did say, like, oh, you know, Sora was number one, but, you know, we couldn't get, then, like, the floodgates of abuse for Square Enix would open up,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
it just would have been bad.
Yeah, and it makes Nintendo's like bargaining even more difficult, because then Square's like, oh, we're number one, we're gonna demand more money, or, you know, Disney or whatever. There's also some politics, I'm sure.
I think.
But he is absolutely right that the floodgates of harassment would have opened up.
Right. I do want to talk about that. I have no doubt that Sora was a super popular character, and probably even the most popular character at the time. What I think we all have suspicion to believe that they might have, like, flubbed the numbers a bit back in Smash 3DS and Wii U. Like, Bayonetta, they claimed, was the number one most voted character in Europe. Among
Realizable character,
Yeah.
not
Realizable.
vote-
Yeah.
But
not number one.
all this to say, though, I also don't think that's true. I still believe King K. Rool beat her out, but they finished on Bayonetta because that's the bigger reveal between the two.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it.
I feel when that ballot came out, and Nintendo didn't put any restrictions on it. It's just, what character do you want to see? I remember I voted for K. Rool. Most people I know voted for K. Rool. And I have no doubt that someone like HMK voted for Sora. So because there was no restrictions on it, I know that the floodgates definitely were open. You know, people were saying, this is the chance for anybody to be in Smash. But that's how I also knew that at the time it all had to do with relevancy. That's how I knew that maybe Crash wasn't super popular because that ballot came out in 2015 and Crash didn't really get his resurgence until 2016, 2017, stuff like that. Sora being the most popular still blows my mind. If you said like top 10 or top 5, I would have believed it. But number 1, I don't know.
Do not understand how big Kingdom Hearts truly
No,
is.
I know Kingdom Hearts is big. I just have a hard time believing number 1. Like I still believe that like K.
I believe it. Nah, man, I wholeheartedly believe that Sora's number 1, easy.
Okay.
Disney and
even by
anime?
a large,
yeah.
even by a large margin of like between number 1 and number 2, I believe that Sora was number 1 by a large margin.
I'll just say I voted for Andy from Advance Wars in the ballot, and
Man.
it's coming through in December. It's coming through in December.
My man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have no
Secret
doubt that they
Lash
looked at
character.
that, and there were a lot of, like maybe even at the time, maybe through a technicality. Like, hear me out with this. For all we know, someone like Wolf or Ice Climbers could have been number 1 by technicality, because he also mentioned back when they announced Bayonetta that results on the poll included previous fighters. So
true.
I get
But then
I guess
you have to
even
consider
then-
this at the same time. You know, like Super Smash Bros. At the point, even past Brawl, after the inclusion of Sonic and Snake, we have a Nintendo game that has now germinated and broke the boundaries of just Nintendo. Now everybody's talking about Smash.
Right.
And now we have a ballot in which everyone who's even touched a video game or even heard of a video game can, like, you know, talk about or possibly hope for a character to be in this game after Mega Man, after Pac-Man,
Right.
after Sonic was able to be in this game. So when thinking about like certain characters like Wolf, Ice Climbers, and stuff like that, I feel that's super localizing to what not only people who played Smash before or just straight up Nintendo fans. This is bigger than that, and that's why I feel like, you know, Sora and even other characters were in the top 5 easily, because we're
I agree.
like we're not just thinking about Nintendo fans and people who play Smash. We're thinking about everyone who wants to have a chance to truly enjoy Smash with a character that has not been realized within said franchise or said company. So that's why I feel like, you know, Sora by a large margin was number 1.
Fair enough. I feel timing has everything to do with it. I'm not disagreeing with you. Like, if they did the Smash ballot right after Brawl came out, who do you think the number 1 character would have been? It would have been Mega Man, right? Like, that's why he was one of the first characters shown for Smash 3DS and Wii U. So now like they did the ballot after Mega Man, Pac-Man, Mewtwo, and Lucas were shown, right? Like those were the big ones. And so from there, I just like, what was the Kingdom Hearts game around the time of 2015? Like, what was the most recent one around that time?
Also, yeah,
Kingdom Hearts
true.
3 was already.
Was it already
Kingdom Hearts
announced?
3 was. Kingdom Hearts 3 was already announced by that
Okay,
point.
that's what I'm trying to
that game's
pinpoint.
been
Like,
around for years,
no,
yeah.
no doubt, Sora is a popular character. I was trying to figure out like how relevant was he at the time. Like, was
And
he
also,
the most
yeah,
popular
you gotta-
character?
Also, yeah, out of all the franchises represented in this game, I think Sora and Kingdom Hearts has been like one of the most consistently like new installment games out of the whole franchise, I think.
Yeah. So,
Like,
like, Sora was never in and out of relevancy. Like, ever since Kingdom Hearts started, his relevancy has only gone up. Because aside from 2 years, which I believe was 2004 and 2000... but, like, there were only 2 years that did not see a Kingdom Hearts release.
Okay.
And
Since
even when
the
they're
game
off,
came out.
and even when they're off of games, they're just putting out collections. They're like, "Hey, you play Kingdom Hearts
Oh,
yet?
yeah.
Okay, here, play Kingdom Hearts now
Yeah, for
before the new
real.
game comes out."
Just throw in like random numbers and decimals.
Fair enough.
Like, this reminds me of a very funny story. I'm going to try and keep this brief. About when I heard about D23 2015.
Oh, yeah.
And that is when they showed off another trailer with confirming Big Hero 6 for Kingdom Hearts 3, right? But during that panel, Kingdom Hearts 3 was shown off relatively early in the panel, and afterwards was like Battlefront 2, some like Marvel game or anything like that. Anyways, it was other video games afterwards. After Kingdom Hearts 3, like, it was a packed, or like the D23 has these really huge like panel rooms, like gigantic. After Kingdom Hearts 3 was shown off, a bunch of people, like 80% of the room cleared, right? And they were like, "Wait, no, where are you going? We still have Star Wars, we still have Spider-Man, stuff
Like,
like
nah,
that."
bro, we
They
just
left.
want to see that.
So when I went to D23 in 2017 to cover it, my contact from Disney at the time was telling me that, after the show, Kingdom Hearts 3 was last, and they were telling me, hey, the reason why they showed Kingdom Hearts 3 last is because all the other developers, Activision, EA, all of them that had a Disney-related license to show off their game, they said they will never present after a Kingdom Hearts game ever again after that happens.
I believe it.
That's okay. That's the only hard part I have wrapping my head around. No doubt that Sora is like top 5. I just the fact that he was number 1 is just what was throwing me off. That's all it really comes down to.
I mean, probably realistically, Goku was probably number 1.
well, okay, fine.
Like, but he's
I
not a video
believe
game
it.
character.
Jeez.
Yeah, so no, he doesn't count his omission. So he's not
Yeah.
even he's not in existence.
Yeah.
And also,
Like-
we don't know if like Sora was like number 1 in Japan or America or like combined. We don't really know like how he's counting it. But
That's
yeah,
true.
I mean, I
Kingdom Hearts is huge in Japan, so I'm sure he was number 1 in Japan.
yeah, but I definitely believe like King K. Rool was very very requested, and that's why King K. Rool made it into the base roster. Simon Belmont was like huge and made it into the base roster. Ridley. Yeah, I mean, like,
all the
there were a bunch
returning
of
characters.
characters.
Snake, Pokemon Trainer, Wolf,
Yeah.
Ice Climbers. Like,
I mean,
go ahead.
I definitely think like he used like the ballot to like give him ideas and inform it. I don't know if he was like, okay, this is number 1, now we have to do it like by law, you know. I think he used it as a guide.
I think
even in Melee, like when they had this, if there was a Smash 2 ballot, he just used it as a guide. Like Wario actually beat a lot of characters, but he wasn't added into Melee because Peach won by 1 vote. So like they added Peach instead of Wario. Like they have to balance the roster as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think it's so magical and so unreal how, if you were to go in a time machine like 2009 and look at someone's fan art of what they want for like the next Smash Brothers, that fan art is realistic now. Like it's basically just predictions at this point. But it's like with Smash Brothers, there's no person you can put down with a controller if they've never played Smash Bros in their life. You give them a controller and show them the full roster when it's done. But you say pick somebody, they'll be like, I don't know who any of these people are. They'll be like, there's somebody in there for everybody. Point blank. Period.
We're at such a strange. You're absolutely right. We're at such a strange time now where people are getting mad over third-party character reveals. Like, isn't that like sad to think about? Because back in the day, every once in a while, you get a third-party character. That was the big one, right? Like, oh my God, Pac-Man, that's so cool, right? And now we got like 5-6 third-party characters in a row, and people are like, ugh, oh my God, why wasn't it? Why didn't we get another Zelda rep? Oh my God, that's so stupid. And it's like, oh my God, guys, they did this because they thought it would be cool, and you're upset that. Like, it was either this character or nothing. It's not replacing someone else. The only time it would have been replacing someone else is if it was going to be Incineroar over Decidueye. Like, that's it. It's either, like, you either get Kazuya or nothing. You either get Mithra or nothing. You either get Steve or nothing. They're not replacing anybody. And people are like,
all the characters are planned so far in advance. Like, the, like, day-to-day, like, campaigning really doesn't do much, when it comes down to it. Like Sakurai planned these characters a very long time ago.
My point was that it's gone. All this Smash speculation and trailers and reveals. It's been a fun ride, but this ride has gone on for so long that everyone's like, I want to get off.
Everyone's tired of it.
People are being rowdy. Like people are making me uncomfortable. People are being really mean. This used to be really fun. I'm a little bummed that it's all over, but everyone was kind of ruining the ride. It's like no matter who we get, like it's gonna please somebody. And why would you be upset if it's a character you don't know? Like you're telling me you knew who Ness and Lucas were when they came into Smash? Like come on, isn't it cool? No matter who you get.
You're on the internet. Unfortunately, people don't think like that. A lot of them don't. They just want what they want.
I was gonna say let's touch on that real quick, right? How like it's a character you don't know, but I know so many people that it's crazy to think how some people haven't played these some of these games that are getting featured in Smash Brothers. Even like if they're said to be the biggest characters ever, right? Like Steve. You know how many people never played Minecraft before Steve got in Smash? So many. It's crazy. Now there's gonna be so many new people playing Kingdom Hearts for the first time when it comes to Switch specifically, because I guess they don't have any other consoles, but good for them, you know? So it's like, it's so crazy how big of a pull this franchise has had for gaming in general.
Yeah.
It blows my mind, and this will not be replicated ever again. I'd be baffled if we ever get everyone is here a second time. I will eat a shoe, deep fried, air fried preferably.
I agree
come on,
with
like-
pretty much everything there, and I know for a fact that HMK is probably just, super incredibly stoked to see all the new Kingdom Hearts players that are going to come as a result of Sora's inclusion in this game.
Oh man, I've already been seeing them online and stuff. They're like, oh yo, where do I start? Like I bought Kingdom Hearts all in one package. I'm like, oh, I begin. Oh my goodness, like it's gonna be great. I'm like, welcome and enjoy. Like
You'll get to be their guiding lights. Take them under your wing,
Man, I can't believe there's actually people out there that try to gatekeep video game series. That's so weird. And I'm like, yo, you want to play some Kingdom Hearts? It's on sale right now. Let's go.
Why would you not want somebody playing your game? Isn't like, you know how many times when I was working for the Completionist, so many people were like, yo, Schiller, you haven't played this? Or I guess they didn't call me Yo Schiller, they called me Bradley. Bradley, you haven't played this? Bradley, you haven't watched this? Man, set some time aside and just play this. Just watch this. Because the whole point of them wanting you to play something or watch something is so that they can talk about it with you. So why would you go on social media? Again, social media.
Yeah.
Social media. Why would you go on social media and say, I don't want you to play Xenoblade? Because then you're a weird person in our Xenoblade community. Oh, I don't want you to play Persona, because then you're a weird person in our Persona community. Like, I just don't get it.
One thing I did want to ask HMK, in terms of Sora's moveset, I did notice, and, it's not necessarily a bad thing, the fighters in Fighters Pass 2, I thought, like, all the movesets have been, like, super complicated, like Min, Steve, of course, Kazuya, and, I did feel like, Sora's moveset was a little bit more sort of simple and more kind of standard to the sword fighter paradigm. Do you like his moveset? Would you have changed it in any way?
I liked it, especially after Sakurai presented it. And the one thing that has me like really elated, like, because I definitely understand that this is a lot more simple when compared to other characters in the DLC. And then he said it himself, but like Sakurai said, it doesn't make him not distinct. It makes him, actually more distinct. Because, my neurons were firing off after I saw him in action. Bro, he's gonna play a bit like how he does in Kingdom Hearts. And I feel that's insane in a Smash game. Like the way Sora is able to combo in Smash like he does in Kingdom Hearts, that should be impossible. There's no way he should be able to do that. Because in Kingdom Hearts 1, a very popular combat strategy in order for to get the maximum out of your combo potential is short hopping into aerial combo, and you could do that in Smash. And I'm like, bro.
So you would say that his moveset is like somewhat faithful to the original?
Definitely. I mean, they took some flavors from like games after Kingdom Hearts 1, including that of his up smash, which is Magic Flash from Kingdom Hearts 3, and his down smash is Finishing Leap from Kingdom Hearts 2. He definitely has some flavor across the titles, which I definitely do appreciate, but it's very evident that Sakurai gave a lot of love to Kingdom Hearts 1, which is fine because the combat was great in Kingdom Hearts 1, and the combat evolves and gets a lot more intricate going forward from Kingdom Hearts 1, which isn't a bad thing, but then it gets to the point where I'm like, how do you replicate that in Smash, right? So I can see why they went a lot with Kingdom Hearts 1, while still retaining flavors from other games. Like his up tilt, that's Prism Windmill, or Rave Chain from Recoded or Dream Drop Distance. It's wild, dude.
Man,
I'm sorry.
You don't have to wait that much
exactly
longer.
how I
10
imagined
days.
him.
I'm actually very happy to see you're so passionate. I'm happy, like, fans like you got what you wanted. I really am.
Well, I do know, really quick, just before we get too carried away, I do know that HMK is on a little bit of a time constraint today. So, before you leave, if you want to take 5 seconds to let us know what you're going to be up to in the future and where everyone can find you on the internet.
Oh, definitely. Well, I mean, what I'm gonna be up to in the future, man, I'm gonna be making a lot of Kingdom Hearts Smash and Sora videos, man. When Sora releases, dude, it's gonna be over. I'm just gonna become a Sora channel at that point. But I mean, we still have a lot to look forward to when it comes to Nintendo and overall. I mean, Breath of the Wild 2. Come on, I'm hoping for a trailer at the Game Awards. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of breakdowns on Sora's moveset. Probably gonna do some breakdown videos on how Sora functions in Smash. Probably have a bit of a, like, I would say, a tier, not even a tier list. I would just say a top list of all of the characters' reveals, how I feel they play in Smash. I'm gonna be doing, like, Smash content is really coming back full force on my channel.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of people have been asking me this, and this is something that you guys could look forward to, is that a lot of people have been asking me, it's like, hey, HMK, how do you feel about the idea of Kingdom Hearts lore mixing with Smash lore? And I'm like, oh, so that's what you want. Got it. So that's what you can look forward to, and you can definitely find me on my channels once again. Plug in HMK literally anywhere on social media that kind of matters, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. It's all the same. You can find me there. And if you guys are down for that type of content, then I'll see you on the other side. What a ride.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for it. Well, thank you for joining us today, and we're going to continue recording, but thank you for joining us. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, HMK.
Oh, thank you so much for
Nice
having
meeting
me.
you, dude.
Bye, HMK.
All right, later, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
All right, so I want to say one
He's a
thing.
nice man.
I want to say one thing. We've heard from pretty much everyone about their thoughts about Sora, but I just realized that we've made it this far into the podcast, and I haven't actually, like, even said anything about the character that much.
Yeah, what do you think? Sorry.
Yeah, so
All
I'll just
shot.
go ahead and give my 2 cents, and then we'll move on to the final topic here, which is a shame because I would have loved to hear HMK's thing. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second.
I think we'll know the answer, but it's fine.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Spoilers. Okay. Anyway, so for me, honestly, I love Sora's inclusion here. Looking at the way the release of all these characters has been structured thus far, too, I would definitely say it has to have been something that was meticulously planned by Sakurai for him to be the last one, because. And I think Stealth kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. As much as I love Banjo, I don't really think there's any other character on the DLC roster that would make more sense as the final pick for me. And as a whole, I think he just really comes across as Sakurai's way of saving the best for last. So going beyond his reveal, I think the content that's included with Sora is also just really, really incredible. The stage looks amazing. Despite the lack of Goofy and Donald's emblems in the stage background or whatever, I think it still looks great. And as far as I can tell, will be a fantastic addition to the competitively legal stages for use in tournaments. Who knows if that'll actually pan out, but I would love to see that stage be played in tournaments in the future. Now that the game's considered, done for the most part.
It looks like it would be. The board of people that determine the legal stages, I don't know who they are. They're pretty finicky.
The shadow console.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes, like, even if, like, the background's too flashy, they won't allow it, you know?
Yeah, so there's...
Midgar should be legal.
I agree. But there's a lot of disputes within the community. Like, some people want more stages banned. Some people don't think Yoshi's Story and Lilac Crew should be allowed. I will always be of the mindset that more stages are better. Some places use most places use Pokemon Stadium 2. Some places use Pokemon Stadium 1, but not the other. Kalos Pokemon League isn't legal anymore. It's weird. It looks like it would be legal. It definitely does. But we'll have to see what the community says, because they might say something akin to, oh, the blast zones are too close. Oh, the blast zones are too far away. Oh, the background's too flashy. Oh, we can't stream matches on the stage because the music will get copyright struck. It's always something.
Oh, that's right. Man, okay, this is why I said as far as I can tell, because I do know that there's some, like, really strange decisions going on for whoever is responsible for determining competitive legality. As far as I'm concerned, I'm with you. I think there should be more stages. It's a shame that Northern Cave wasn't included.
Northern Cave is included, but it
is
replaces
it?
It replaces Kalos Pokemon League, so we couldn't
Oh,
have
that's
both.
what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I was under the impression it was the opposite. Like, Northern Cave just was not, like, there was some sort of issue with it. Maybe I'm thinking of
So
something else.
not all events use it. We're now on a timeline where different events will actually have different legal stages. At least on the West Coast right now, Northern Cave is allowed and Kalos Pokemon League is not. Some places in Central America, or Central United States and East Coast America will have both, and they'll also allow, like, Yoshi Story. but like West
Okay.
Coast doesn't allow Yoshi Story, stuff like that.
That explains my confusion. Okay. Yeah. So
I would say
I would love for that seed.
Disney
Anyway.
content. I would say for Disney content, I wonder if it was Sakurai's decision or Disney's decision. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about that, probably in Sakurai's Famitsu column.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious on whose decision that was to not include Donald and Goofy at all, and to just have Mickey Mouse be the Keyblade emblem.
Yeah.
I feel like if Sakurai had his choice, he would probably have added the Disney content just to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
I just feel like there was just some kind of, that was just like
Yeah.
getting Sora in was fine, but like having like a Donald and Mickey like spirits was just like one step too far for them.
Too much cheddar for
My
the
guess
cheese.
initially was that. I'm sorry.
I made a stupid joke. You can keep talking.
Oh, I was gonna say that my guess initially was that they weren't gonna be like in Sora's moveset at all, but they were gonna at least be like in his final Smash as like cameo characters in that.
That's
but
what I
guess
was
even
thinking.
That was, yeah.
Especially the way that he talked about it in the presentation, like, "Oh, I can't
Yeah,
show
it was
you
really
the final
weird how he
Smash."
talked about it.
Yeah. Then he ended up showing it later,
And
and
he
I was
shows
like,
it.
but it makes total sense. I wouldn't hold it against him.
It could go either way. It could either be Disney saying you can't license Mickey Mouse, or it could be Sakurai saying I don't want Mickey Mouse in Smash because he's not a video game
Yeah.
character. Like I could see it going. Either way.
Oh, wait, true. Very
Yeah,
true.
and people were joking on Twitter like that one shot of like the Mickey Mouse keychain cost as much as one character.
I wouldn't doubt it. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, my whole thing with Sora is like, obviously, the music that's going to go along with him is obviously stellar, but you want to know something? For as much of a reputation as Kingdom Hearts has garnered over the years for really great nostalgic soundtracks, the only gripe I have with this entire reveal for Sora and his inclusion in the game or whatever is that they didn't include the beautiful orchestrated version of Simple and Clean in the song list that was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that's owned by Utada Hikaru.
Yeah.
the recording label. So.
Yeah, I would assume
guessing
it's some
it's just
sort of
rights.
like copyright thing, but man, oh, that music just hit me right in the heart. Oh, it was so
yeah,
good.
I mean, 9 songs was a little bit of a bummer considering like how much music is
Yeah.
in some of the stages.
Well, it is more
But-
than Dragon Quest.
Yeah, that has 8. Yeah, that has 8. That's
True.
true. But yeah, I mean, like all things considered, you know, like I joked, like Square Enix had like the least amount of content in Smash Brothers, like after Wii U, and that was kind of the joke. And now like they have a ton of content in Smash Ultimate.
Yeah.
We got more songs with Sora than we got with Cloud initially. So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All this still makes SNK look good. Because they were like, oh, you want Terry? Here you go. Oh, you want all these cameo characters? Here you go. Oh, you want all these songs? Here you go. SNK looking real good right about now.
Yeah, true. They just threw it at him, and
I'm sure if Sakurai wanted more playable characters, SNK would not fight him. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I
fighting
mean,
game.
he's
How
often
curious.
said in some of his interviews, like working with Square Enix is like the most stressful for him.
Oh, that's
Because of, like,
yeah. That's a
The
comment.
meetings.
Push can correct me on this. I'm pretty sure of the like big AAA Japanese development companies, Square Enix is infamously the most strict. There's,
Well,
they make a good product.
Square
but
Enix.
what's up?
The issue is like a lot of the artists there, they retain the rights.
Right.
So like with Dragon Quest, like you have like the original creators owning the rights, not the company.
Sure.
And same with like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. Like the songs are owned by the composers. They're not owned by Square.
Right. But then it goes into, when you license a character, there's a way everyone wants their characters to be portrayed, and Square Enix always has the most notes. And
Yeah.
I remember also when they would demo games at E3 and Comic-Con and PAX and stuff, and you'd be given your embargo list, Square Enix always had the biggest one. Square Enix
Yeah.
always... I remember there was something like Dragon Quest XI. Even when the game came out, you were not allowed to stream certain points of the game. Like they have a specific way they want all of
That's
all
true.
of their stuff to be portrayed, which isn't objectively wrong. You want your game to be seen in a certain way, fine. But obviously, it's bad for your reputation when companies like Namco and SNK
Atlus does that,
and
too.
in today's day and age, even Sega are so much more lenient about it. They're like, oh, we don't care, just like play the game you bought. It's fine. So, it's not a good look. It's cool now that they gave Sephiroth and all these Dragon Quest heroes, and they licensed out more songs, and that they were willing to work with Nintendo more and more, and that they had compliments for Nintendo when their characters were implemented. Like they seem fine now, but there's definitely a reason they have this infamous reputation, not just in Smash, but just in the gaming industry in general.
I think it's fine. It's fine only because I think a lot of people within Square have a personal relationship with Sakurai, so like that smooths a lot of things over. You know, he even talked about how difficult it was for him to get Cloud back. Can they get all, hypothetical next game, would they be able to get all the Square stuff back? I don't know. But for right now, like, I think, I definitely believe him when he said, like, Sora was definitely, like, the hardest character to get and, like, manage and just get through all the red tape.
Yeah, I was even surprised that we got like the Mickey Mouse chain on the Keyblade. I could have swore would have been like a Smash symbol on there or something, or like a special Keyblade that wasn't even the actual regular Keyblade. But
that was such a magical moment. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think Sora had to be the last character because of all that red tape. Because like, I mean, Sakurai mentioned that Iwata and him planned this, so like this was at least 3-4 years in the making, right? And with Sora, like, because of the red tape, like, when they're developing characters, they're not developing characters one by one. They're developing multiple characters all at the same time. And he actually talked about this in the last Famitsu column that I have not translated yet. But it's like that, they're working on, like, 3-4 characters at the same time. Like, they're doing the animations for one, but they're doing the sound for another. They're testing the other. And so, like, now, by the end of it, his workload is much, much lighter. And so I think having Sora be the last one was just logistically the best possible way to go about that development, because it probably required so much more effort than the other characters.
And like, even just looking at the whole package as a whole, like, there's just, when you look at it from like, a bird's eye perspective, you can just tell that the production going into Sora was just massive. And understandably so, because we are dealing with Disney to some capacity after all, but looking at what we get with Sora and just the way that it was presented, obviously just like totally eclipses, I think, every other character reveal before that. So I totally agree with you on that one.
And Kazuya being like the one before that probably made things a lot easier, because Kazuya is a Bandai Namco character, so it's in-house.
Yeah, but
and so
literally
like,
that guy is friends
checked,
with Sakurai. The Tekken.
Well, yeah, and he also, like, he's like the head of Bandai Namco, or one of the heads of Bandai Namco right now.
Right.
So like, of course, like, all that went smoothly, and then before that it was Pyra and Mithra, right?
Right.
So like two easier characters before the really difficult one.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess they couldn't start the pack with Steve, or maybe they could have, but Steve required like a complete overhaul of the game, right? But then after that, it's like, all right, comparatively, Sephiroth, maybe not so bad, and then Pyra Mithra, I guess that's easy negotiations, and Kazuya, like, I guess implementing his gameplay mechanics is a little weird, but you've got the head of Tekken on board, so he can just, like, show you how to do it. And
I remember with Pyra and Mithra, he even said that, like, Monolith Soft, like, insisted they do a lot of stuff on that, and he took a break.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess you're right that it works out this way. It's like peaks and valleys, right? Like, okay, we gotta get over this hill. Yeah. Okay, now we can rest for a little bit. Oh, the next hill's coming up. Okay, we can rest for a little bit. Oh, okay, now... final hill, let's go.
Yeah, because like managing that development schedule is so impressive, because like with a game like Smash, you're managing so many different licenses and so many different people. So like having that plan is really, really important.
Yeah.
I know that people want this to go on forever, but it can't.
Right.
Like there's only so much time and energy in a day.
I swear he said in the past that anytime they make even just one change, like changing a character's jump height or shortening a strand of hair, they have to send it over to the license holders for approval. And
I'm sure.
Obviously some people are going to like be more lenient than others and have fewer notes, but I swear he's gone on record saying sometimes you get a lot of notes and it takes a long time to implement just one character. So,
yeah, it depends on the rights holder. It depends on the character as well. But yeah, there's that process of sending it over to those companies for checks, and Sakurai getting the approval and getting the the okay and everything like that. It is a very detailed process.
Yeah,
because it's not just like the model and it's like the model, animation, sound effects, music, the way that they move, the way that they interact with other characters. Like I remember he mentioned during Brawl that he had to get the okay from other characters, rights holders, when he implemented Snake's chokehold.
Right.
Because would those people be okay with Snake, choking their characters?
Yeah.
And so
That's a fantastic point.
it's-
There's even some characters I remember because I'd have to get thumbnails for certain videos. When they do a grab animation, sometimes certain characters, like specifically female characters, they get grabbed by like the arm or by the hand instead of being
exactly.
grabbed by like the neck or the chest. I always thought that was such a fascinating detail, and I was like, huh. I wouldn't have thought about it until I had to pause the game and take a thumbnail, and was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So fascinating.
So many little details.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
And like the way that they hold items is different for every character too.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
That is. To be a fly on the wall. Okay. So obviously, we've been sitting here talking for a little while. But before we transition over to our next and last topic of the day, does anybody else have anything to contribute as far as Sora's inclusion in Smash at all?
I like his costumes.
His costumes
Dude,
are so
can
cool.
Yo.
Like every
They
single
gave
one.
Sora so much drip, bro. Like, we've been talking about how we want characters to have better cosmetic detail for years. Sora gets in here, they fought tooth and nail to get him. We know he did. They gave this man 5 to 6. Every one of his costumes is canonical and different. Each one. They're not just recolors. They're legitimate costumes he's worn. And I am losing my mind over that, dude.
Not even.
Although I do wish, and this is, I'd rather them be, accurate than what I'm about to say. It would have been nice to have like a purple color, or I do like it when the characters have a lot of colors. Sora's costumes are definitely like black and red leaning, which is fine. But I do appreciate how they went completely like canon with his costumes.
Yeah, and like even going beyond just the color schemes and everything, they also went out of their way to give him 4 different renders, which is so sick.
4 different spirits, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And his renders look like so like what's it call it? Like the Kingdom Hearts community was like, bro, his Kingdom Hearts 3 render looks even better than his original Kingdom Hearts 3 render. Like, they're just like, bro, why does Sora look like so good in Smash compared to his own game? What's going on? Like,
I don't know. But he looks really, really good. But I also got to ask too, because it's kind of been rumbling around in my head since I saw that. Do you guys think that we're gonna get 4 different amiibo as a result?
I don't know if we're
That'd
gonna
be
get
dope.
any amiibo.
I don't think so. No.
I think we're
Any?
getting at least
No.
one.
We're
We're
gonna
getting
get
one Sora amiibo.
We're gonna get one, but not 4.
Well, I don't know if we're even gonna get one. They were very choosy with their words in the Smash presentation about how Steve, Sephiroth, Pyra, Mithra, and Kazuya will each get an amiibo, but they didn't mention a single peep about Sora.
No,
Oh
Sora's got
no!
one.
Wait, that's such a good
I mean,
point.
I just feel like it's part of the deal they sign when they
He's got to get
say
one.
their characters in Smash is like an amiibo's coming.
I hope
It
No
might not
way.
come until 2023, but he's getting one.
I hope so,
Yeah, right.
but I guess
I-
we'll see.
The only reason I asked is because I saw that. I didn't think they would do it, but I saw that Pyra and Myth were actually getting separate figures.
Yeah, because they're counted as separate fighters.
Yeah, they are.
That's true.
And also Steve and Alex.
yeah,
that one's
Alex was a
surprising.
surprise.
That's a more interesting
That was
one, but that
surprising.
is literally a different coat of paint, so I guess that's an easy one.
Yeah, that was interesting. Well, in any case, I'm gonna do the same thing I did in other previous podcast episodes and say, "Yo, Schiller, let me dream. I want to have a Sora amiibo on my desk one day." So I'm
Hey, if
just
they make
gonna.
one, I'll buy one. I just don't know if they will. But I will
I-
march on over to downtown Disney and go to whatever store sells amiibo, and we'll buy it there.
Do you live
Yo,
close
that
to
would
downtown
be a
Disney?
crazy loophole if they actually were like, yeah, you can only get them at Disney World or something.
I mean, downtown.
Oh my god.
Downtown Disney has some stores. It has like a Lego store and stuff. I don't know any. I don't know if there's like a GameStop or something down there. I don't remember.
I don't think there's any like specific gaming stores that are located in downtown Disney, but I would assume that there's got to be some store there that sells them because I remember when I was little, I'd pick up like newer games from somewhere.
Push.
I don't know.
Is there a
I
gaming
wasn't old
store?
enough to drive.
Is there a gaming store at Disneyland Tokyo? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Ugh, that would be that would be the perfect place to buy it.
Okay, well at that point I'm just gonna go to like USJ or like Nintendo headquarters. I'll just buy it there. Get the
Go to
authentic
Universal
experience.
Studios Japan to buy a Sora amiibo. Buy it from Disney's competitor.
That definitely wouldn't happen.
I don't know, man. But listen, I hope that they give him the amiibo he deserves. And
I hope so too.
you know, considering how much I've invested into my amiibo collection at this point, is it so much to ask for me to have one last figure? I'll pay for it.
Now your question was, would they do amiibo for alternate costumes? And that's a coin toss. Like, it doesn't seem like they're going to do it for Sephiroth, so I don't know if they're going to do it for Sora.
Oh yeah, true.
I don't think
They're not gonna do it for Byleth.
Oh yeah, Byleth or Kazuya. Yeah. Most characters who have alternate renders don't get amiibo. We were lucky to get it with Corrin, Cloud, and Bayonetta.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised they're doing
Yeah,
it with,
I think with-
Alex, but I guess she's licensed as a different character, so they can do that. I don't know.
I think with Corrin, Cloud, and Bayonetta, it was kind of that weird period between the games, so they were like, okay, we can do this as like a service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, in any case, I think David's right. I don't really need to think about this for a while because it's likely not going to even launch until 2023. So,
Fair enough.
I think that's a fair point to make. Okay, so now that we've talked about Sora at length, and I think Yoshiller made a good point earlier. It's unfortunate that HMK wasn't able to stick around until this point, but I think we can all guess what his answer will be to this next question. So, Smash has been around for a long time, and I know that, at least for me, seeing Sora shake hands with Mario and just like the whole reveal trailer in itself felt very bittersweet to me because I know the history, and I know that this is a game series that I followed for pretty much my entire life. I know I played the first one whenever it came out on a Nintendo 64 back in the day, and I've played pretty much every single one. I shouldn't say pretty much. I have played every single one ever since then, and I've been, very in tune with the community and just like following every release, every DLC fighter, and just been right there with you guys with every single, like, who's it gonna be? Who's this next fighter gonna be? And even in the days before we even got DLC, just wondering who's gonna be on the base roster for a next Smash game. It's been like a whole culture to it, and as a result, it's been a huge part of my life. So I want to hear from you guys, starting with Stealth. What has been your favorite Super Smash Bros. Memory of all time? It doesn't have to be Ultimate, and kind of tell us what Smash Bros. Means to you as a whole.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I started playing Smash Brothers, on the N64. I never bought the first Smash Brothers. I just rented it like 20 times from Blockbuster. I thought it was a fun, like side Nintendo game, and I actively was like telling my friends like, "There's no way this could be a series or anything. It has no potential."
You said that?
I said that, yeah. But things change, and that was a very long time ago. But, my favorite Smash memory, it's just kind of been, like, the overall excitement, like, right before a big character reveal, because it can be anyone. It's just, exciting to see who's going to be, in the roster. I was actually at, like, Nintendo World Store, for the Cloud reveal.
Oh, that's so cool.
And that was crazy. But that was just fun. Just people screaming. It was insane.
Yeah.
But just all the reveals. That's what I'm gonna say is my favorite memory. And obviously Smash is just it's like a once in a lifetime kind of series where anything can happen.
Yeah. No, I agree, and that is such a good point. I totally forgot that I mentioned this on Twitter. It's funny that I'm just now thinking of it, but can you imagine if it was even possible today to see the reactions from Nintendo New York to the Sora reveal? Because that was like obviously like every single like reveal or announcement Smash related up until this point, I would always go out of my way to go find the Nintendo New York reaction, because I think that is like true, unbridled, just like completely pure Smash community reaction right there. Just seeing their 100% genuine excitement over it. So in an alternate reality, we got to see everyone just lose their minds over Sora's inclusion. That is so wild. But anyway, I think that's really funny that you said that, Stealth, back in the day. Like, oh, this is a series.
We would all love it and play it, but we were like, we didn't expect like it'd be a series. We certainly didn't expect like third-party characters to be in it. Like we were satisfied with like the 12 characters and that was it. Like I had no expectation of that becoming a series at all.
Yeah. Wow. That is really interesting. What about you, David? Favorite Smash memory and what Smash Brothers means to you?
Yeah, I'd say probably my favorite Smash memory is probably the most recent with Ultimate. When Smash Ultimate first launched, that was my excuse for me and like three of my friends to go to New York for the first time. And that was my first time ever going to the Nintendo New York store because like my whole life as a Nintendo fan, I've been like, I want to go to Nintendo World back when it was called that, and I'm like, now I want to go to Nintendo New York NYC, but I want to go during a launch of a game when it's like the biggest thing is happening, right? And then Smash Ultimate got announced, and I was like, this is the year I'm going. I have to catch that plane to here and be there on launch day, and I was, and it was amazing, just like playing Smash, um, like out there outside of the store with my friends. Like we all just popped a squat like out in front of the store with our cartridges and just played with base roster, and it was so fun. And then that was also the night that Joker was revealed at the Game Awards too. So like everyone in the line was just freaking out because it was even like before we even got our hands on the game, we were still in line. So that was just a whole gamer moment there. Like so that was probably my favorite memory of Smash so far. Uh, and in terms of like what this game means to me, um, I didn't consciously know what Smash Brothers was, or I didn't really care about the series until maybe like probably Brawl, but I was playing it all through Melee because I remember on the N64 because I owned an N64, but I didn't know about Smash Brothers yet. It was a game that some of my cousins would own, and I would go over to their houses and be like, "Oh, this game is cool. I don't know what this is. I kind of like I recognize these characters." It was like one of those things where you're just playing a game, just play the game because you're a kid and you're just playing a game. Um, and then I got my GameCube, and my dad gave me like Luigi's Mansion and Pikmin and some random like motocross game, and I didn't want the motocross game. So then he took me back to the mall to KB Toys, dated sentence, and then he exchanged it for Super Smash Brothers Melee. Because I guess one of the employees was like, "No, your kid will want this game because this is the game he won't want to play." So then I remember booting up Smash Brothers and that opening sequence just going off on my screen. I was like, "This is a cool game."
Shout out to that guy at KV Games.
Dude, right? And then like that just became the couch co-op, the couch local multiplayer game. Like I would be playing it with my friends at my house. I would be at my babysitter's house, and like she had a TV, and kids would bring their game systems over, and we would like be playing Smash all the time. And then when the Wii came out, and then Smash got announced, I remember I went to the release date for Smash Brothers Brawl, and then like when Sonic first got into Smash Brothers Brawl, that was like a huge thing. Like I remember I was on the Smash Dojo website every day when he was adding all those screenshots and stuff. I was printing out the pictures on printer paper, cutting out pictures, putting them on my locker, and in like middle school, dude, it was a time, dude.
Man, we would have been friends.
Yeah, 100%. Same lunch table and everything. So yeah, Smash has been like that series that if you bust it out anywhere, there people are gonna start gathering. People are just gonna play. And I think that's just there's no other game other than like maybe Mario Kart that has that ability. And that's just so cool to me. Even like when I was in college, 2014, 15, when Smash 4 came out, and all my friends, we were just like, yo, this new Smash Brothers is coming out. It was when it was on 3DS first. I had a 3DS. I had some friends that didn't have 3DSs. We're like, yo, you gotta get Smash. You gotta get a 3DS to play Smash. Some people were like, I'm just gonna wait until the console version. When the console version came out on Wii U, I was the only one in my friend group who had a Wii U, and everyone was just piling into my dorm room to play Smash Brothers. Like we just had a local tournament on my dorm floor, and it was just me and like a whole bunch of friends just playing Smash for like that whole weekend. No homework was done at all. We didn't care. It was just it's so good, dude. And now we're here with Smash Ultimate. Now Sora's in it. Yeah, this game has had significant standing in my life for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Man, why am I getting emotional right now? But
yeah. Great for product, or
yeah.
sorry, great for parties, bad for productivity is what I meant to say.
Yeah, for sure. That Smash is a big one.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's hilarious. Like, I wonder if
You
that
ever just
guy-
be happy to be a gamer, man?
Yeah.
So good.
every
so good.
day of my life I wake up and think that. No, I don't. But man, I wonder if that guy just will ever know how much of an impact he's had on your life. Weird.
Yeah, just being like, yo, get this game.
Yeah.
Get this game for your kid.
What about you, Yo Schiller?
I have a hard time answering this question, not only because I've had so many different experiences with Smash, but it's hard for me to say like, well, this is the moment that made me feel the best, but this is the moment that eventually led me to this. So I'm just gonna pick one story, and my answer might change, and if you ask me on a different day. But here's the answer I'm choosing for today.
Yeah.
Smash Ultimate was demoed at E3 2018, and at E3 2018 they had a For Glory section and a For Fun section. And because E3 was now reopened to the public, lines were super long, and that meant you had to reserve your time to play in either one of these sections. So a lot of people reserved time to play in the For Glory section, and after you played in that section, you were basically done. Like, all right, hope you had fun playing Super Smash Brothers. Go home. Now I lucked out a little bit because I was a Nintendo brand ambassador, and I got to play Smash at one of their little private areas when they had the Super Smash Brothers Invitational going on at the time. So I at least got to play it a little more after that. But when I went to my first For Glory meeting, or For Glory session, it worked as follows. Their booth had like a stepping stones. And on the base floor, you played a 4-player free-for-all. And I believe the top 2 players from your group of 4 would advance to the second round. Then, in the second round, you'd see another group of 2. You do another 4-player free-for-all, and the winner of that 4-player free-for-all moved on to the final round. So just one person that time. And in the final round, you did a one-on-one against someone else who did the same process as you. So I went to my For Glory meeting, and I made it to the final round. And I believe I lost to a Pit player. I think Pit was in the demo. My memory's a little foggy now. I used to remember. I'm pretty sure he is. I was Little Mac, and I felt like my victory was robbed. Because at the time, in hindsight, I accept the loss now. But at the time, I did not know that after you use Little Mac's side B, if you got hit again, you could not use side B again until you hit the floor. That was a new mechanic for Little Mac in Smash Ultimate. So I used side B, got hit by Pit's arrow or something, and attempted to do it again, but Little Mac wasn't moving. So at the time, I was like, hey, my controller's not taking my input, and I felt so bummed. If I knew that, obviously I would have played differently. But I didn't know, so I kept thinking, like, I don't want to be that guy, but, like, was my controller not taking inputs? Is the demo, like, having bugs? I don't understand. I was so bummed. I was fortunate enough... What's up?
That's one of the classic rules. No Johns, man.
I know. No, I know. Like, I definitely lost. He was a good guy. I took a picture with him and everything. He was a nice guy. I was just bummed. Like, I didn't understand what happened. That's all.
Yeah,
I was like, I wish I had an answer. Well, now I have an answer. I was fortunate enough, though, to be able to go back in the For Glory line and try again. All right? So I wait like 30, 45, 60 minutes. I make it back, and I work my way back up to the top. All right? I did it.
Yeah.
And this time, my opponent was another competitive Smash player. At the time, I didn't know he was.
Oh, no!
I have now learned that this is competitive Smash player and commentator Coney, one of the top commentators of Smash right now.
Oh, cool.
At the time, I didn't know who he was. But apparently, the people in charge of this booth knew who the both of us were. I'm the guy with the Yoshi hat. This is a top-level Smash commentator. They have their hype guy. His name's Hollywood. He's behind us with a microphone, and they decided to broadcast our entire match to the people at E3. So if you were waiting in line, if you guys have ever seen this booth, there's like a giant wall, and there's like one match that gets displayed, and it says like live from the show or something. So our match gets put on there while Hollywood commentates it. And a bunch of other people in line are filming. And I didn't know. The entire time I was like, oh, I wish I could have somebody filming this. Oh, well. So I play Little Mac versus Mario. Obviously, you look back at the footage, and it's like, yo, Schiller, you freaking idiot. You don't do that as Little Mac against Mario. You left yourself open type of thing. But at the time, you've got so much adrenaline. You're just kind of, your heart's just kind of racing, and you're just doing what you can. And he gets off my stock, I get off his. He gets off my second stock, I get off his. People are reacting. Some people are cheering for me. Some people are cheering against me. Some people want Coney to win. Some people want me to win. And eventually, I get knocked off stage. Mario uses his flood. I use my up B. It's very evident that I'm not going to make it back to the platform. So immediately, I shake hands and fist bump Coney. We take a picture, and then I get off the stage. And then I go home that evening, and I'm looking at gameplay videos, and I see one that says, like, oh, Little Mac versus Mario. All right, let me look at this. Hey, that's me! So I messaged the uploader. I'm like, hey, that's actually me playing. And he goes, oh, okay, cool, thank you. And then as soon as I said that, all the comments were like, you should have done this, you effing idiot. Why did you go for that? Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I want to make something clear. First of all, I've had maybe 10 minutes with this game. Second of all, I don't have custom controls. And third, it's Little Mac versus Mario. Like, that's already tough as heck to win. So easy for you to say sitting back, watching in hindsight. At the time, we're all just mashing buttons, hoping for the best, okay? I'm honored that I even made it to that round. So that's probably my favorite moment right now, because that's what inspired me. That's what inspired me to one day want to meet Masahiro Sakurai. I mean, I've always wanted to meet him. But that's what inspired me to take the route of, what if I just compete and rank well enough at a tourney to where I get another experience like that and Sakurai is watching? That's what I want.
Yeah.
So
That's his origin story. I love that.
a little bit. So that actually was my first competitive match. Technically, my first 2 competitive matches in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So
It's funny. As you were telling that story, I kept thinking, like, why is this your favorite?
So Coney won. I did get like a hat. I gave the hat away to somebody. And
You can't replace the Yoshi hat. That's
No,
for
yeah,
sure.
I can't. I think I wore it on top of the Yoshi hat when I took a picture.
Appropriate.
But yeah, my for now, my favorite story regarding Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the time I was on stage and our match was broadcasted to everybody at E3, and I got my butt kicked by a competitive Smash player.
There you
So.
go.
There you go.
Oh wow. I could probably go through my footage and find you there. If you were up there twice, that had to have been a lot of times. So.
One of the times I was up there, I was on Nintendo's AFK screen on their Treehouse stream, and people were like, "That's your Schiller!" So I have a picture of that. But otherwise, the only match I have recorded is the Little Mac versus Mario one, because that was broadcasted to everybody.
Okay. Well, whenever Yoshiller becomes the eventual villain of Ultimate, I'll know where it started.
I just want to meet Sakurai. When I meet Sakurai, I'm done. I'm actually done competing. I don't need to compete anymore.
Well, when one way or another, we'll make it happen.
I hope to do so through legal means.
Through legal means, what does that mean?
I'm not gonna stalk the guy. I want to win a tournament and have him award me the trophy or something. I'm not gonna go stalk him in Japan.
Right. Well, no
legal
one said
means.
that, but I'm glad that you're clear.
Well, because you said through one way or another, and I'm like, I'm not gonna,
not what I
commit a crime. Okay.
It's like hang out in the bushes
Want to
while
make
he
it
gets
very
off
clear
work.
in case this is used against me in court or something.
What about you, Push?
So yeah, I've been playing Smash for a long time as well. Like Smash 64, like Stealth, I rented it from Blockbuster back in the day a bunch of times and played through it. And then when I got a GameCube, Melee was the first game I got. And so I remember like booting GameCube up. I was playing in my parents' room because that was like the nicer TV. And just being so overwhelmed with Melee, just being like, oh my god, there's so much content, there's so many things to do. And then I got into a little bit of competitive play with Melee, did a couple tournaments, and I would play like pretty often with my friends. But with Brawl, like Brawl was like when I was in college, first year of college, I would stay up every night for Japan time, like watching the blog be updated in real time at like, was it like 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning, and just being so hyped for that. Brawl was when Brawl was released, that was the only time that I purposely skipped school. I played Brawl for 11 hours straight the day that it came out. I unlocked all the characters, complete Subspace Emissary, and like I played Brawl every single day with my friends. Like I had a really close knit group of friends. Like we were playing Melee up until Brawl release, then we played Brawl every single day, and it was just so much fun.
You were gay.
And then I was gaming in like these dorm rooms and everything like that. But then with Smash for Wii U and 3DS, that's when I started Source Gaming. So obviously it has a lot of like emotional attachment for me because that was like the start of what would eventually become my career now, actually joining the gaming industry properly. And so like my biggest moment, I'm trying to go through this real quick because I know people have to leave, is that Everyone Is Here trailer. I felt like that was like the biggest moment for me because it was just like, this is exactly what like I wanted. This is exactly what like a lot of people wanted. This is such a huge reveal. So hype and everything like that. Like it completely blew expectations out of the water because like we didn't. I didn't even realize that Young Link could come back.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, like Young Link. Oh, he's just replaced. Like that's a different. That's Toon Link is Young Link. Like they're just. But yeah, even Pichu and everyone comes back. It was such a magical moment for me.
And that was such a whirlwind day, like seeing all that come out at once.
I was in the process of moving, so I was actually in like an internet cafe because I didn't have internet at my house. Like 1 a.m, just like almost in tears. Just
You're telling me you were losing it in a Starbucks?
basically.
Oh, that's so good. All right. I guess everyone else has kind of gone, so I'll finish us off here. So, my favorite Smash Brothers memory is something that we talked about on the podcast before, but now that Yoshiller has used it as an example, I might just forego it. It was gonna be, me being invited to the the Smash Invitational at E3 2018. We got to be in that exclusive lounge, play Smash Ultimate for like hours on hours, and Sakurai came and visited the theater, and it was like this magical moment, and I got to see him in person. But going back to the origin real quick, I remember my first experience with Smash was Smash 64. I could have rented it at the time, but thankfully I was one of my best friends at the time. Her name was maybe I shouldn't say her name. One of my best friends at the time, she lived next door to me, and she had the game. She didn't really care for it all that much. She had other games to play. She also just wasn't that big of a gamer. So every time I would leave her house, which was pretty often because her mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my parents were both working, so I was pretty much there every day. I would ask permission to borrow the copy until the next day. So pretty much every day, I was quote-unquote renting this game from her, and I could really just dive deep into all the memories I have in this game, but obviously we have a little bit of a time constraint. So I'm just going to say that it was hours upon hours of me just sitting in my room by myself playing single player. And even then, it was enough for me because I would just spend all that time unlocking all the stuff that I could in Smash 64. And then obviously the time after that, Melee came out. But, I want to focus on not keeping this too long. So what I will say is, I have a very, very long history with this franchise. I've played every single one since release. It was great. I loved it. But the one that sticks out to me the most, and really is one of the only moments in gaming history where I can watch it again and it will still move me to tears, is the initial reveal. I can't remember what year of E3 it was, but I do remember, I believe it was Bill Trinan who introduced this trailer. It was the reveal trailer for Smash Brothers Ultimate, or not Ultimate, Melee is what I meant. There's something about the music and just the crowd's reaction. I remember being at my parents' like we had this home computer that was in the kitchen, and I wasn't old enough to own any of my own devices at the time, so I was sitting there watching this trailer, and I was just like you were at the Starbucks, I was just like crying, being like, oh my god, what the heck, Sheik is in the game? That's so wild. And it's kind of funny thinking about all the stuff that, elicit any sort of reaction because, Ultimate obviously eclipses all of that as far as third-party inclusion. So I would say my favorite Smash Brothers memory is the GameCube Melee reveal. And, just something about the impact, going back to what this game means to me, this game has had such a profound impact on me over the years, and there's just something so electric about being able to be excited about a game and getting to share that with people who match you at that same energy. It's indescribable, and it's why I do what I do. And quite frankly, I appreciate having these discussions with all of you here now because I love video games, and there's really not many other franchises that I don't feel have had as much of a meaningful, going back to the same word, impact on me as Smash has had over the years. So, love this game. I love it, love it, love it. It's a bittersweet feeling seeing it all come to a conclusion with Ultimate and Sora's inclusion and everything like that. But I will be able to cherish all the memories forever. So it's not like it's, going anywhere. So, all right. I think that's going to do it for today's discussion, though. So thank you guys for joining me today for this month's episode. You guys, I super, super appreciate it. I'm going to do my best to make sure that this podcast is run on a monthly basis, as I always say, and gets regularly updated over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That way you can listen to these discussions in whichever way you prefer. Anyway, we're pretty much at the end here. But before I go, I wanted to take a second, go around the table one last time, and give each of you 5 seconds to tell us about yourself and where our listeners can find you on the internet, starting with you, Mr. Stealth.
You can find me on Twitter at Stealth40K. I talk about Nintendo, JRPGs, sales, and, all manner of video game talk. So, come say hi.
Yeah. Yoshiller?
Hi, I'm Yoshiller. I wear a Yoshi hat. You can find me on twitter.com/RealYoshiller, but if you just type Yoshiller on YouTube, you'll find me even more easily.
That's really easy. What about you, David?
Yeah, my name is David over at ConmanRDW on both YouTube and Twitch, and then you can also look me up on Twitter at DaveedRDW, that's DaveedRDW, and you can keep up with my tweets and all that other stuff, and all my links are also on my Twitter, so yes.
Nice. I like the way you spelled your name. It reminds me of a Mr. Gaddy's commercial. What about you, Push? Round us out.
I'm Push Dustin. You can find me by searching Push Dustin on Google. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. So go ahead and follow me on any of those platforms that you like.
Let's go follow him on TikTok. He does funny dinosaur dances. All right. And
I gotta do a sequel to that.
Oh, you do, please. And with that, though, that concludes our discussion. So once again, if you're still watching or listening, thank you for making it this far. And I look forward to hearing you guys' thoughts in the comments below. We'll be back next month for some more discussion. But for now, there's only one thing left to say before we take off. And that is, of course, as always, I'm alecandstuff. And I will see you all again real soon.